This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast and the Becker Business Podcast. We try and make sure you're learning, that we're learning, and that we're entertained some. I'm going to work through 6 or 7 business stories we're following this morning. The first story we're covering today is the killer of the United Healthcare CEO. One, he's still on the loose. Two, he apparently wrote on the bullets, deny, delay, and defend on the bullets. Used a Sharpie to do that, so I guess it showed up on the bullets. This reflects the sense in this horrific killing of the hostility towards insurers. That is widespread. The killing is awful. It's horrific. The hostility between providers, patients, and insurers is very, very real. And I sense that's getting worse. Second, Amazon is trying to compete with NVIDIA in building its own chips, its own AI-driven chips, and help motor Amazon Web Services in some of their efforts. Fascinating, Amazon is one of the few mega technology companies that could try this and is almost uniquely situated to go after it. Never bet against Amazon. Third, and I happen to be near across the street from a Lululemon store now. Lululemon is currently rebounding up 8 to 10% pre-market. It's showing better than expected forecast, better than they've had in some time. And so that's what's going on there. Uber, in contrast, is falling. It dropped nearly 10%. This results from increased threats from self-driving taxis and part of the Waymo effort at Google. Fifth, DocuSign is also way up this morning. Their results are going great. The DocuSign thing is one of the most fascinating things. They make it so easy to sign. I don't think anybody else ever reads anymore what they're signing because it's on the fine print, and who could bother to read it all? It's just literally fascinating. It's like shopping on Amazon. They make it too easy. That's what I'm seeing there. Six, well, a separate podcast on there's a period of time each year on don't upset the apple cart. Good is good enough, and execution is everything. We'll have a separate podcast where we talk about that. Seventh, American Airlines jumped nearly 17% yesterday on improved guidance. Simply fascinating what's going on there and how much the airline industry goes up and down. We'll also have a separate podcast on 5 sort of little known but great leaders. We'll talk about that. That'll come out on our podcast on Saturday. And finally, the Levin Economic Anxiety Index developed by Rick Levin now sits at a 6.2, and that's a pretty low number for the Levin Anxiety Index, reflecting not too much anxiety at the current moment. That must be partly due to just the amount of what's going great with the stock market and so forth. I'm sure that anxiety picture feels different for those who have the cost of living going up faster than their wages are going up. But in the capital class, the anxiety level has gone down a little bit. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you very, very much.